Surprise! The Defense Secretary, Leon Panetta, is at the war. And it's always a surprise whenever a high-profile American official goes to the war. They never say they are on their way ahead of time. They never tell you until they're there, sometimes until after they've already been there and left, because they say it would not be safe otherwise. So it was supposed to be a surprise when we were told today that the Defense Secretary was in Afghanistan. Now, even though they said it is a surprise, it is not that much of a surprise in the larger sense, because it's December and defense secretaries and even sometimes presidents tend to make their way to visit the troops in harm's way around Christmas time, just about every year. We can see the pattern because it's been 11 years in a row now that we have had troops in harm's way during the holidays, as Americans have been fighting wars abroad for more than a decade now. Joining us now for the interview is Democratic Congresswoman Chellie Pingree of Maine. She's a member of the House Armed Services Committee. Congresswoman Pingree, thank you so much for being here. It's a real pleasure to have you here.
Thank you very much, and thank you for bringing up this topic.
Let me ask, in my summation there, it's hard for me to talk about troop deaths in terms of their statistical manifestation over time. It's just a difficult thing to put in those terms. But that basic thesis that the more Americans we have in Afghanistan, the more Americans are dying there. Do you think at base level that has to be part of the calculation for how much time we spend there and how many Americans are there over these next 2 years?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we have had a suspicion that the surge didn't work, and now we have concrete proof that it didn't, and in fact, it's only made things worse. I mean, I personally have opposed the war since 2002. You've been talking about it for a very long time. We have been encouraging the president and arguing that we should bring the troops home. Losing 2,000 lives, the billions of dollars that we've spent, and not to have increasing progress just says to me we need to have an end. We can't be talking about what to do after 2014. We have to talk about what to do before 2014 and bring our troops home.
You are in a position of some responsibility here, and also you have good access to information here because of your position on the Armed Services Committee. When you think about the strategic goals of why we're there, I don't think we're there for wanton reasons. I think they've articulated a strategic way out that they think will leave the country more stable, at least according to the strategy, than if we didn't stay. Do you think that the sort of failure of the surge on its own terms disproves the basic strategic reason for why we're staying? Do you think it says that the longer we stay doesn't necessarily make things more stable there?
I mean, I think it gives concrete proof to that. I think it's what many of us have believed for a long time, that we're a bigger target in Afghanistan and, frankly, around the world. It is time to allow the country to proceed, and it is time to discontinue the loss of lives and the spending of American taxpayer dollars. It's something that's not becoming more effective, that's not working any better. And, in fact, as you say, it's getting worse. And, you know, the American public is strongly behind this. I occasionally get the argument from my colleagues who say we should set new conditions, there should be more and more reasons that we stay. But I don't hear that at home from my constituents. I hear from people, you know, most people, it's off their radar screen. They think, you know, it should have ended a long time ago. Now they really want it to come to an end.
Do you think that there is, I guess, asking your advice, what should we watch for in Washington if we are hoping for some substantive debate on this? What needs to happen in Washington in order for this to become a meaty enough political issue that it's debated to enough extent that it might make a difference in when the troops do come home?
Boy, I feel like we've tried everything. We've just gone through an enormous election cycle. It hardly made it onto the radar screen. You know, I hope that the president, now that he's won the election, starts to say, you know, I need to be effective here. I have to do what's right for our troops, for our country, really for the future of Afghanistan, and make the argument that it's time to come home, and that, you know, we can't be talking about post-2014. We have to say, can we speed this up? I mean, there is good concrete evidence that says it's not getting better, it's getting worse. And for all of the talk of the challenges that we have of reducing the deficit, of nation building back here at home, rebuilding our infrastructure here, how can we justify spending taxpayer dollars there? And particularly with the figures you showed us, the increasing loss of lives. We are a bigger and bigger target all the time, and we can't keep saying to people or letting one more general say to us, oh, it's going to get better. We've got this new idea. It's right around the corner. It's not. It's not, and it hasn't been going in that direction for quite a while.
Democratic Congresswoman Chellie Pingree of Maine, member of the House Armed Services Committee. Thank you so much for being with us here to talk about it. I appreciate it. Thank you.